All right, good evening. Again, we're going to start with a hand treatment. Make sure you have your ball and make sure that you, then we're going to do a head and neck treatment. Then we're going to kind of work down the head, starting with the back of the neck and do some neck shearing and gliding. Then we'll do some upper back, and then we're going to do a rebalance sequence. So we're going to add the rebalance sequence about kind of a third or halfway into it. And within, of course, each one we'll work on doing just reassessing and seeing how your body goes. The benefit of the reassessing is, remember, is that you are consistently checking in with the system so that you are able and capable of creating a cognitive connection to what you're doing. So it's not just that you are doing stuff to your body, which is great, but you're learning how to make connection and you're learning how to bring restoration through that connection. So you're not just doing what you're told and then just kind of forgetting how your body does. So your body begins, in a sense, to listen to you. So, which is always nice, that your body stops being a petulant child and your body actually starts being that responsible college graduate. All right, start with the ball down on the ground. We'll start with a forearm assessment. And let's bring those forearms together and then open up the hands. So the hands are nice and wide. Just look at what you've got. Stretch those fingers out and then close the palms in. Now close your eyes and take a deep breath and just kind of feel how the breath comes into the upper middle back. And then again, open the hands with your eyes closed and just kind of notice how your palms open and notice if anything changes as far as what you feel. Because remember, we're trying to use our body sense. And then close the palms in. And then open the eyes. And one more time, open those palms out. See if you got some difference in there. Just see what goes on with the shoulders, the neck, the back. And then close. Go ahead and take your hands down. Grab your ball. And then just make a fist. So remember, when we make a fist with our hand, we're looking for that equanimity of balance. We're looking for how's the ball feel in the hands, kind of like we put the weight on our feet. And then take the ball into the other hand. And first you'll feel it. Sometimes you might feel, some tension. Maybe there's some underlying swelling. Or you might feel like this hand or that hand doesn't grip as well. Just be aware of those things. And then just switch it back and forth and see if you can have an immediate connection, one hand to the other. Kind of like when we kind of shift our feet back and forth on the ground. Good. Let's start with the left hand on the ground. Press straight down. And then release and press straight down. Let the hand kind of relax over the ball. Press down and release. One more time. Press down and hold. And then release. Let's move the ball right underneath position point 2, underneath the knuckle of the index finger, and then position point 2 underneath the middle, and then the ring, and then the pinky. Remember, the whole hand kind of rests down to press that knuckle up. Move to the knuckle behind the thumb, and then to position point 3. So we're coming down low, underneath the pad of the hand, deep into the hand, press down. And then right between the two pads and then to the outside edge. So it's kind of underneath and behind the pinky finger. And then from there, we're just going to begin to do the glide. You can take the other hand on top, or you can just maintain that nice index middle finger connection into the ground. And you're looking for even movement of that hand back and forth. Do 2 or 3 more passes, and then pause. And then we're pausing behind the thumb, and then again, just move the fingers up and down, not a lot of movement to the ball. Move the ball back and forth, just a tiny bit. Pause, move the thumb in and out, and then pause. Keep the pressure on the ball, and then release. And then we'll rinse, pinky finger, ring, middle, index, and thumb. Let's pass again, all the way back to the pinky finger. And then friction on that hand. Good. And then let's go with the other hand. Go ahead and take the right hand to the ground. Press down and release. Press down and release. Good. Just kind of like the feet, the hands. This is a treatment for the hands, but the indirect, it would also be chest, shoulders, back, and into the thoracic spine. Breathing, press down, maybe up into the neck because you've got all those nerve endings, ending down at the fingers. Pause, take a deep breath. Exhale. Good. And then move the ball to position point 2 behind the knuckle of the index finger, the middle finger, the ring finger, and the pinky finger. To the thumb, press down. To position point 3. 4, right through the center of the hand, and 5. Good. Keep the middle finger and or index fingers pressed down and begin to move that ball back and forth. Good. Nice and even pressure on that ball. So a beautiful and curious thing about the body, because everything is connected, we're not just one part and that shuts off and goes into something else, like as if there's a door in a sense, is if there's a neck issue, you can attend to the hands. And then if there is instead of always just kind of rubbing in on the neck. So that's a kind of a beautiful thing about hand treatment, foot treatment, is that it can really affect the rest of the body. Good. Pause. And then let's come to that thumb and then up and down, side to side, and then move that thumb in and out. And then pause. Good, let's rinse. Starting with the pinky finger, the ring finger, middle finger, index finger, and thumb. One more pass. Press through and onto that thumb. Press, 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 and one more time. Press. Good. And then friction on the right hand. Nice and wiggly. All the way to the heel, to the fingertips, to the outside edge, to the inside edge. Good, let's do it one more time on the left hand. Just to remind the left hand we love it still. You know, the firstborn thing, we got to give them a lot of love. They're used to a lot of love. Good, go ahead and pause. And let's bring our forearms together again. Palms are open, nice. Big stretch in those hands. And then close the eyes this time. Breathe deep into the back. Exhale. Notice if you have any release and tension and pressure there. Now open the palms again, just with your eyes closed, and feel if that just feels different. Close the palms again. One more time. Open the eyes, open the palms, and then close. And then bring the ball, and then make a fist around the ball. And then just switch hands, and then fist. One nice thing I like is my grip just feels a little bit stronger. It feels a little bit more even on both sides. Good. You can put your watch back on if you took it off. So we're going to do that neck treatment, head and neck. And remember, we're rubbing the ball. So when I say pin the skin, you can kind of think of if I put my fingers here and I rubbed, that would be more like a gliding. So I'm moving my hand. I'm not really moving the skin. But if I pin the skin, I'm moving the skin up and down. You'd have to kind of focus in close, but you can see that I'm actually not moving my fingers up and down. I'm moving the skin up and down. Now, of course, I'm moving my fingers, but they're pinned to the skin, and I'm just moving the skin back and forth. That's going to kind of release some of that tension in that underlying and superficial fascial layer. I've even made it a little dense, a little underlying inflammation in there, it looks like. And then we're going to be able to plump that tissue back up. So that's that compressive, that where it can plump back up. And then we've already done gliding, we've already massaged the tissue, and then we can get more kind of movement through that tissue. So that's kind of the point of doing compression. So I bring my knee up just so that I can rest my hand on my head. So I'm going to go behind my ear. You've got that bone behind the ear. If you follow that bone, you find the jaw line. Well, we're not going to push in there, but we're just going to be behind the ear. And then if you want to take your glasses off, if you have them, because they just kind of get in the way a little bit, or for me they do, I'm going to put it right back there. I'm going to use the heel of my hand against the ball. So I compress, but I don't want to jam. I don't want to try to push the ball through my skull by any means. And I want to rest my head into my hand. And then I'm just going to make a circle, just a nice gentle circle behind that ear. So there's a lot of lymph nodes behind the ear, inside the jawline, running down the jaw, down the neck, just so many lymph nodes. And so we're just trying to open up and release some of that lymph as well, create more ability for the body, assisting the body in every way we can to release tension, pressure, and to let fluid move through the system better. pause, keep some pressure there, and then you're just going to take the ball, take your fingers on the ball, pin the skin a little bit, and then you're going to twist the ball. So you should feel the skin move, but the ball doesn't really move up and down at this point. Twist, and then pause, and a breath, and then release. And then we'll go right inside, so right by your ear if you went down into your jawline. And then again, put the heel of the hand on the ball, rest your fingertips on your forehead, and circle. So I did this at the 4 o'clock session, and there was a little bit more tenderness, which is nice to feel now that there's a little less tenderness in this area. And this is more directly associated with the sinuses. With all of this cloud in the sky and so on, we can get a little sinusy. Good, go ahead and pause. Just let the tissue respond a little bit. Release the pressure. Take the ball in the fingers and then just twist the skin. You can move the jaw, you can look up, you can look in or out. You're just twisting the skin. Not so hard that you tear or hurt, just a little twist. And then pause, and then release. And then we're going to go up just above kind of where you've got, where like your glasses would rest. So if I had my glasses on and my glasses would rest right there, I want to put the ball just about to the back side of that where you can feel the divot, kind of like your temple, and then you're going to put that back there. Again, heel of your hand on the ball, and then roll the ball around. If you breathe and go slow and don't push too hard and think nice thoughts, it should feel quite lovely. Go ahead and pause, and then release. Hold the ball with the fingers and pin the skin, twist. And then pause again. And then let's release. Let's go to the other side. And then take the ball behind the ear. And then we'll do that same idea. So the heel of the hand rests on the ball. And then the fingers rest on the head. And then you do that circle. So again, kind of gliding. But more of a circular glide. More kind of proximal to the surface. Just easy as it goes. Pause. And then just give it that twist. And then pause and release. Let's go again to the jaw, heel of the hand, fingers, and then again circle. Good. And then pause and release and give it that little twist. It's almost like you're taking a Q-tip in your ear and you're back and forth. Except we don't put Q-tips in our ears, I was told many, many years ago. I still do it every now and again. Pause. And then release. And then up top, sphenoid bone is kind of where you're putting it. And then your heel of your hand, fingertips, and then again circle. There was a cartoon when I was a kid that this cartoon character, I don't know, it was a Saturday morning kind of thing. He was cleaning out his ear, and he kept pulling things out of his ear. It's kind of funny. Good. Pause and release, and a little twist. And then pause and release. Good. So then take your fingers. We're going to start at the forehead and just kind of sweep and rinse down your face. You're going down kind of this, what's called the watershed. And you're going down by the ears, then underneath, and then down the neck towards the collarbone. And then we're going to go down the center of the forehead, down right past the nose, more, again, for the sinuses, down in this deep crease right here, down the jawline, on the outside of the tracheus. You're not rubbing right against that tracheoesophagus, and then down to the neck. And then that's done. Very nice. All right, so let's come down. We're going to do a nice rest assess. Jeannie and Terry's favorite part of this whole thing. Pretty much everybody's favorite part of this whole
I like the sound of my feet on the floor.
I know. All right, laying back on the mat, just let those arms drop out to your sides. Go ahead and close your eyes and invite yourself to come into the body. Feel how the body just responds to the ground. Feel how the ground presses up against the body. Again, you're not necessarily trying to use your common senses of touch or of sight, but you are trying to feel what the body is feeling. And beginning at the head, notice how the head weight rests back into the ground. Your jaw may be softer and may want to drop a little bit more. That might feel very nice. Your head may feel kind of heavy, almost weighted, because things are just kind of moving through that head. And then from here, then just notice again your shoulders. So if you divided the torso into 3 sections, the first section or the first third would be from your shoulders to the base of your sternum. Should feel level and flat all the way to the ground, arms evenly weighted. But what ends up happening is throughout the day, with workout, with exercise, with stress and tension, we've got stuck stress. Most of the weight is up at the top of the shoulders, on the shoulder blades, or you might even feel a hollowing between the shoulder blades themselves. Taking a next focused breath, notice more your mid-third of the back. The diaphragm area, the back of the ribs should be touching the ground. And notice the large back arch, like as if your back, your shoulders on the ground. Or if you feel level, your rib cage to your navel, and then from a small back arch from your navel to the top of your pelvis. We want to keep that midline space as connected as possible. That's really the balancing of the pelvis and of the cervical spine. And then the bottom third is in the pelvis, and you want to notice if you feel balanced or misweighted on one cheek or the other. If you feel all your weight through the center, like right in at the sacrum, and then do you notice if your hamstrings are off the ground? Ideally, you'd be evenly weighted across, and even your hamstrings would feel like they touch. When I first began to do melt, I didn't get that idea of hamstrings touching. My hamstrings touch almost, I would say, 90% or more of the time now, and it's great to just feel neutral or level to the ground. Take your attention all the way down to your feet and notice how your feet drop to the ground. Notice if one foot feels like it is to one side, or if they feel like they're dropped out east and west. And then if you divide the body into the body sees. Do you feel right side and equally to your left, or do you feel longer maybe or deeper on one side than the other? Taking a nice long focused breath and settle. All right, so you have a pin in what you feel, and notice if it was a shoulders, ribs, or pelvis, or maybe a combination of all of those. Let's slide the feet in so the vertical, and grab your roller. We're going to put that roller now behind the head. So you want the roller set up so the roller is pointed toward the ceiling. There's a comfortable rest. You should feel the base of the roller on your shoulder side, right at the base of the hairline. The actual touching of the roller may be up on the round of the back of the head. From here, just let your shoulders drop and your knees bend. Let your back just settle into the ground and just begin to nod the head. Just feel that chin lift. And you're not pulling the roller underneath you, but you are allowing that roller to move nice and evenly, and you're not pressing down. So you're not just pushing into the roller to move. Just gently nod your head. So again, we're gliding the roller on the back of the head. So again, realize all those muscles that go down into the spine of the body, all attached. There's attachment points all throughout the spine and into the back of the neck. Release that tension. Of tension. The front of the body, the belly, the ribs, the whole front of the body, even the internal organs are being pulled as well in opposition, and everything becomes very protected then in the front line. So it's important to find those gentle options to move the body. Good. Pause. This time lift your nose up towards the ceiling. Turn your ear to your right shoulder and then keep that head up. Much dropping your chin to your shoulder. Just keep your ear kind of like it. A little bit of traction for the neck. Bring the head center. Move the roller just a little to the ball of the back of the head, and then begin to slowly drop the chin towards the sternum. Feel the neck get long in the back line, and just let the chin rest against the sternum. Big deep breath, and then exhale. Inhale, lift your chin up, and then exhale, get long. Feel the neck growing long as you drop the chin towards the sternum, almost sinking your chin in. Take a deep breath, inhale, and exhale. Inhale, bring your head back up, and then let's swim. Let's do a little backstroke. Take your right ear up, take your left ear up, take your right ear up, and you can shake it all about. No, don't do that. Allow that head to roll from side to side. If the roller moves, which it tends to do, especially when we do figure 8 movements. Good, and then go ahead and pause and just rest there for a second. You're going to shift your hips a little bit so you can roll onto kind of half back, I would say, and just allow your back of your ear. So kind of where you had that ball. So your ear lobe is touching maybe the roller, and then you're just going to make a circle on that back. So you're not all the way on your ear, plugging your ear. You're behind the ear. And you're going to make a circle with your nose. And then pause. And then push and pull. So remember, we're tacking the skin. And you're going to push and pull the head forward. Think of your nose almost like a woodpecker. Push and pull. And then pause. And then just nod your head. And then pause. Good. Let's roll, and we're going to go to the other side. You'll just tip over. What your legs do is just comfortable. Your bottom arm is out from underneath you, so you're not laying on it too high. And again, you're just going to circle your head. And then pause, and then pin the skin, pull the head back, press the head forward. And then pause, and then we're just nodding the head. Good, and then pause. Now, this is the best part because you can come back to a little rest assess, bring your head back to center, take the roller out from underneath you, back to those things we just love, is just settle in. It's nice when someone gives you permission in the moment and time to just kind of settle in. And again, now notice how the weight of the head feels back. It may feel lighter now. It may feel more evenly loaded on the head. And also the arms, now taking that body into those thirds again. How does that upper third feel all the way into the arms? Maybe a little bit more evenly weighted. The midline at the diaphragm down to the navel, if that feels a little bit lower. Now it's a very indirect thing. A little bit more. Felt more level. It takes a little longer kind of work all the way down to the feet. Go ahead and slide the feet in. Let's take that roller, and we're going to back. We're going to do a little rinsing to begin with. So a nice thing about rinsing is it's like rinsing anything. It's like whooshing water. It's like pushing and moving the hydration through the body. So you're going to come all the way. So the roller's at the top of your shoulders. And then lift your hips up as high as you can. And then keep your head lifting as you lower your hips. So go nice and slow and kind of drag your hips for a moment and then pause. And then you're going to reset those feet. Lift the hips up so the hips are as high as you comfortably can get them. Let the head lift so the body becomes into a flexion as you then extend the knees and lower the hips. And then one more time, lift the hips, come up, and then push the back into the roller. Good, and you can exhale, beautiful, and then bring the hips down. Good. Go ahead and pause. Now you're in a great place for rib length assessment. And so we're going to let the hips come up just a little bit here. Drop the pelvis back down. I'm going to move just a little bit. I'm going to go back into that position again. So again, we're in rib length assessment. Lift the hips, tuck the pelvis, hands behind the head, and then just lay the torso. So you're wanting to keep the ribs against the roller. You're not wanting to lift the roller or move the roller at all as you test those ribs. And just notice how far back you can get. You're not trying to strain or fall or tip over or drop your head. Just notice there. Bring your head and chest up just a tiny bit, and then tilt your body to your left, center, and then right, and then center. And then again, move to your left. Notice that side bend, and then to your right. For me, this feels really good today. And then back to center. Good. We're going to do a rinsing again. Just one more rinse pass. All the way up to the top of the shoulders. Bring the head up slightly. Drop the hips down. Extend through the legs. And then pause again. So I want you to find a kind of a mid spot. It can be anywhere really on the back. And we're going to bring the elbows towards the ears, sink the rib cage down, and then you're just going to pin one vertebra up against the roller. And you're trying not to let the hips move in opposition, which is really sometimes hard to do. Pause, and then just enough lift off the roller to move that roller back about 2 inches forward and 2 inches back. Breathe, and then pause. We'll do one last rinse. So bring the weight all the way to the top of the shoulders and then push all the way down. Nice and long. Good. Good. Reassess because we did that nice upper back treatment right there. Just check in real quick with one of these small check-ins. Really helps to kind of stack the deck and notice, oh, when I do that and I don't spend a lot of time there, I can kind of quickly come in and assess. And then you may feel more neutral. Notice those ribs. They may feel like they're more settled into the ground. That would be a great attentive if you notice that. If the shoulders are out wide and they feel more dropped into the ground. And again, if your head weight feels still very even. A nice indirect would be if you're indirectly changed. And I feel nice and balanced. So let's go ahead and come in and do right up onto the roller, head to hips. And we're going to do our balancing. Coming into rebalance later is also, it is another one of those movements, very gentle. And then but we see how the body shifts. So when we do it first, we tend to be like kind of tight and on and kind of lit up a little bit, like our body isn't ready to soften. Later into it, a chance to move. We've been restorative to the nervous system, and then your body soften. And you can, when you move to the right and to the left, maybe the body moves very evenly. Not a lot of work. And fear is an interesting thing in the stress, pain, of kind of balance themselves are almost the same thing to the nervous system. But your body kind of goes in the sense of wanting to catch or brace itself. Great feeling to just feel stable and secure. Pause, head in the center. Bring your palms to the center of your belly. Let your nail and fingers touch the top of that pelvis. Just let the weight of the arms settle into the belly. Breathe, inhale. On the exhale, tuck the tailbone. Inhale, and then tilt the tailbone. You can exhale on each, the tuck and the tilt. Inhale. Exhale, tuck. Inhale, and once more. Inhale, exhale, tuck. Inhale. From here, just drop the elbow to the ground. Let the hands rest on the rib wall. Breathe into the rib cage. Exhale. Once more, inhale into the rib wall. Exhale. Take the arms out like a big wide W, elbows touching the ground, palms kind of up towards the ceiling, and then reach the arms fully away from the midline of the body. And then bend the elbows until the elbows touch again, and then reach away. Be aware that you're not raising your arms. You're not trying to get big like you're seeing a bear or something like that. You're just reaching out like a real big hug. And then pull those elbows in, and then reach out and away. And you'll feel what's considered maybe for you a stretch, but what you're finding is that it's actually tensional pull. A tensional pull is about finding that length within the muscle itself, within the tissue, the fascial layer. And you're finding that movement for the nerves. And then back in, one more time, reach out all the way out. And then let's round and bring those fingertips together. And then pull the fingertips apart from each other. Again, watch that your arms don't come high towards your shoulders. And then bring the fingertips back together. And then pull those fingertips away from each other. Let the elbows slightly bend. Breathing. Once more, bring the fingertips to touch. And then take the right hand over your head, left hand to your thigh. And then left hand over your head, right hand to your thigh. When you're moving in this single arm reach, you're moving from underneath the armpit. Remember, we're moving the back line of the body. Even though we're moving the arms in front of the body, the back is really doing the work. So you're not allowing the chest to get tight and pull. You're letting that all soften. And you're raising the arm, your shoulders, your back is doing the work. Breathing. One more time. Take your right arm over your head. And then take your left arm over your head. And then both arms come down to the ground, fingertips down. Reach those fingers away. Feel that length coming from the inside and back of the ear again. Nice and long. Inhale. Look towards your right shoulder. Reach further into your left arm. Find that length up the forearm into the index finger. Maybe out of that left ear, down the left shoulder. Inhale, bring your head back to center and look over your left shoulder. Reach through that right arm. Breathe. Remember, our body releases through the breath and when the water, through release of the water out of our body. So we need to use that breath to cleanse the body as well. Relax the arms down, slide the right leg out, and drop over to the right side. Let's do a nice, again, rest assess again. Laying with your arms down. Being on that roller, you may feel the balancing of the right and left sides, the lengthening of the right and left sides, but you just may also feel almost like smooshed into the ground. So we're going to end with a nice lengthening move for the front line again, even though the hips are going to be up on the rollers. Slide your feet in. Let the roller go behind the hips. Hold the fingers and lift the hips up, bringing the hips up onto the roller. So again, you want to try to find that placement of your fingers on your iliac crest. Thumbs go around the back line of the body. You should be able to feel the kind of the SI joints kind of underneath your thumbs and behind your thumbs, chin towards your sternum. And then just gently bring your right knee and left knee up to your chest and go ahead and just drop the thighs into the belly. A nice indicator that things are level is if you look between your legs and you see your feet. One foot shouldn't just be up and hanging over the other foot. If you look at your toes really should line up about with each other instead of having them be just one leg hanging up, and that means there's too much tension in the hamstrings or the glutes to be able to let those feet rest, maybe in the calves a little bit too, so you can see some nice evenness in the back line of the body as well there. From here, hold your right knee, pull your right knee into your chest as you extend your left foot to the ceiling and you begin to level your pelvis on top of the roller. Making sure that the rib cage doesn't lift, slowly begin to lower that left leg out as you draw the right knee toward the chest. So you're working in two directions here. Then you're taking the left hand overhead, get long, and then look over your right shoulder. So you're working the right knee into the chest, the left leg away, nice and long, the left arm up overhead, and the right chin to the right shoulder. From here, nice deep breath, inhale. On the exhale, you'll tuck the pelvis. Shh, and sink deeper. Inhale again. And one more time, try to tuck the pelvis. Shh. Reach that left arm and that left foot away. Inhale, bring your head center, lower the left arm and leg. Just let the weight of the body, of the legs sink into the body. Holding that left knee into your chest, extend the right leg up, extend the right arm overhead. Get long in those two directions. Remember, we're not allowing the thigh to hang on the lower back. So keep a little bit of levelness in that pelvis. Take that right arm up. Look to your left shoulder and reach as you lengthen. Find long, like you got 1 more inch, you could reach to the wall in front of you. Inhale, exhale, shh, tuck the pelvis, pull the left knee in, release just a little bit. Inhale, exhale, tuck the pelvis, shh. Inhale, bring your head back to center. Lower your right arm and right knee. Just let it fall into the body. Look between those knees again. See if the feet line up even a little better. Maybe this just feels very nice on the back line of the body. I mean, you could probably just hang out here for a little bit, but you can't. You're going to have to go do dishes probably. And then drop your feet down one at a time. Lift the hips up. Slide those legs all the way out. And drop into the roller. Now we've got all those thirds that we just worked on. Release of tension, pressure. So we didn't do a lot of compression work, even though we were compressing into the roller. Most of the work we did was about lengthening, about opening. So notice how your head weight feels back. If it feels like you have more space, maybe between your ear and your shoulder. Notice that first third, if it just feels more balanced between your hands and your shoulders, and the weight more evenly distributed down to the base of the sternum. Notice again the belly, that kind of the mid-third, if the rib cage feels level to the diaphragm, and you have that even back down into the navel with a small back arch from there. And then the pelvis. Very important that the pelvis stay level for walking and balancing. Notice if the pelvis seems more even on those butt cheeks and then nice and level on the hamstrings. And then do the feet drop out. Divide the body in half. Notice those two right and left sides. If they're longer, more even, more weighted, balanced. Taking a nice focused breath again. Begin to slide your feet in so your shins are vertical. Let's shift the hips off to one side. Roll. Just pause on one side for a second. And then using your top hand, press yourself up. Good. And we are